I'm going to start it off with a sales statistic because at the end of the day, we're all here to do business. Mingle and socializing is always fun. Good people is always great. That's who you want to do business with. But at the end of the day, we want to make deals happen. We invited, I want to say, a total of 15 people. We didn't hit the 16. We got about a 25, come day of, we had about 5 backouts. We got about a 25% return on the invites, right? So if you look at that as like a sales calls, look at how many people you're talking to in a week, etc. If you're doing what you're supposed to, I would say, especially if people know you, you're going to be around that 20 to 25% where things move forward, right? So we plan on doing this every month. If you have friends in the business that are looking to do something like this, every month we're going to be getting this. We're going to be doing this, getting our mimosas and mortgages on at the end of at the beginning of the month is what we're shooting for. So I want to get a pulse of everyone here as far as how long you've been in the business. Rita, I know at least 3 years, or almost 3 years, since like the summer of 2018.
I think I'm going on 4 years. I don't know.
You got it? Because I know we were a part of one of your first deals with
Yeah.
our friend Rita.
Yeah.
I want to say you're what?
2 years.
2 years? And then I just learned from both of you guys about 2 to 3 months in. A weekend. Okay. So you have 2 people here that have been in it for a while, and it's always good for us, people who are veterans, so to speak, to be with younger blood because it refreshes us. There's a little bit more of that hunger. There's a little more of that fresh eyes, just like when you have kids, which a few guys have kids in the office. So it helps to bring that young blood in the door. I'm going to get it started, and we're going to start with the market. Talking about 2021, where the market is at, what we're seeing is working, strategies that are actually working from the mortgage side and the real estate side, because at the end of the day, to get the deal done, we need you guys and you guys need us, right? It's a team effort to get it done. So, inventory, I know you two have been facing this, seeing what's available. There's a supply and demand issue. There is way more demand than there is supply. I think this is going to continue. A lot of people are saying, hey, housing crisis, when's it going to happen? When are the values going to come down, etc. There's going to be a supply and demand issue for at least the next 2 years. At least, because even if the market comes down, values come down, interest rates go up, there's still new people getting married every month, every day. There's still people being born every day. You just track back throughout our lifetimes. There's new home buyers on the market every day. Not everyone is trying to do it old school and live with their family at home, right? And even if you are doing it, there becomes a breaking point where you got to get out of there, right? So there's new buyers on the market every day. It doesn't matter if the values are high, the values are low, interest rates are high, interest rates are low. There's a market for new home buyers always. Second homes, their third home for their family, they're going big, they're downside, whatever it is. So the reason I bring that point up is because I've been in the business, first day of the job was August 10th, 2009. I got in at the worst time. I didn't know I did. I was just young, just wanted to make money. Things got easy, and throughout the years, things got easy with lower rates, etc. Then rates came back up. I've gone through the cycles already. And the truth is, whoever knows what they're doing, and knowing what you're doing isn't necessarily knowing all the information and knowing everything. Knowing what you're doing is having good work ethic, having good people skills, going after it at the end of the day. All the other knowledge comes with experience. So as long as somebody knows what they're doing and goes after it, there's always going to be good business to get done. You will shine, you will shine compared to the other realtors, us compared to the other loan officers in the market. People remember you when you offer a good experience, and really, I could tell that he didn't know what to do in that situation. Like, he didn't know the answer on the spot, but the client is left with confidence that you were able to figure it out and get it done, right? So that's always going to be there. We talked about home values. We talked about interest rates. Anything anyone wants to add in regards to the market right now? I would actually go to one of you two first because you guys have been in it longer. And
What are you asking?
like, as far as how bad is the supply issue really on the field?
I mean, it's pretty bad. You gotta kind of think outside the box, like trying to find off-market properties, farming subdivisions that there's a demand for. You just gotta kind of like, do 2 or 3, find a way outside the box. And I think putting a really good relationship with other realtors, that's the problem. Everyone's in such competition, so to speak,
Yes.
that they don't realize that we're actually working together.
Right.
because I have a buyer, you have a seller, vice versa. So keeping a really good pool of realtors, I reach out to people from all different brokers, and I'm like, hey, I have a client on the east side that needs this, I have a client, do you have something coming up, let me know. I'm seeing one tomorrow that's not on the market yet, just by communicating with different people.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important to build a relationship with other agents. Like I've been in, like I had a really good month of March in my sales, and half of them were multiple offer situations. And because I knew the agent, he pulled my offer through. You know, kind of had a little kiss ass, but you know, it is what it is. Like you know, they pulled their offer through, and you know, and literally it was like a couple of them was like literally the first house that my buyers you know walked into and they fell in love. And half of my buyers right now want to sell their house, but they also don't want to become homeless. So I'm literally sitting there trying to find them a house, just you know, because we can't list their house yet. So it's you know it's a little tricky, but you got to be really creative with your offers. So you know you have to sit and you have to really educate your buyers on what competition they're out for, what they're competing against, and really you really have to know what their finances are. What is their bottom line? How much are they able to afford this particular house? You know, so you can really have a little bit of legroom to be creative with writing your offers.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna add a recent deal. So
100%.
the saying is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. There's a little BS to that because who you know is important, but what you know is also important. If you know everyone, but people can see you don't know what you're doing, or you're not a person who figures this out, eventually the people you know don't want to work with you either, right? So it's important because I had a deal where I got a foot in the door with another realtor. Like our offer will win as long as you come correct. Like I said, look, this is what I have on the table, and if you come here, like the deal is yours. I'd rather work with you. This is a realtor talking to me. I'd rather work with you because we worked in the past and I know what I'm gonna get out of it. But it's gotta come correct. We are competing with 3 other offers, 3 other people within our community making offers on the same home. So I went and told our realtor our side of it, and the client is what we got to do to win. But we didn't. They didn't get creative or weren't willing to do that, right? So we lost. So I knew it. I knew the realtor. I got my foot in the door with the realtor. Said, "This is what you got to do to win, and it's yours. Like I'm not going to entertain anyone else. I will cancel all showings, etc." Right? But at the end of the day, you still got to come correct with what we're doing to win a deal. So thank you. You guys want to add any insight from being fresh in the game? Have you had any experience with listing homes, showing homes? Yeah, I know you're fresh, so it's okay.
I've gone with other realtors on showings that are on my team just to get like a feel for it.
Yeah.
So obviously I know like in this market, appraisal guarantees is like something that if you want to, you know, even get your offer looked at, that's something that you have to go over with the buyer.
Yes.
And it's better to do it ahead of time versus waiting and having them stress out later about it. So that's
Also, I want to add to that. If you have a buyer if you have a buyer that you know is a really strong buyer, talk to Terry because sometimes you can even get him like an appraisal waiver, and that also can get your offer,
go through.
Yeah, a stronger offer.
Terry's really good with the appraisal waiver. I don't know how he does it. He just walks past the computer and it's like, oh, see cash. He's coming here.
Yeah.
It never happens. He does it. Boom. Appraisal
So how
waiver.
do you convince a buyer that's not willing to get an appraisal waiver? They're like hesitant about it.
The reason I told you to tell them to call me back, the clients call me back now. So.
Okay.
To put enough of a down payment, you're saying? How do you convince the buyer to put enough of the right offer?
Yes. Not the right offer necessarily, but a lot of them are hesitant, like, no, we don't want to do an appraisal, but we have to have an appraisal. We have to make sure that we're not paying too much.
Right.
I understand completely.
You know, they think it's like, you know, you're confident, it doesn't matter.
And that situation is kind of tough. So I'm speaking for myself, and I'm pretty sure, because I've had this conversation with Sylvia, that she would do the same thing. If I have an appraisal waiver on my home, of buying a home, I'm still getting my own appraisal. I may not include it in the mortgage, but I'm getting my own appraisal, just because I want to know what the real value is.
Okay.
So I think in some cases, if that's the client, if that's what they want,
But then they don't have a cushion.
you have to let them know, like at the end of the day,
It's
you're
just for
losing
your
your
FYI.
strength in the offer, you could lose the deal. So I would probably go, I haven't had that, honestly, I haven't had it, but I've thought about it, like me, myself. I would I would make it work to where it's not included in the mortgage, they get their own, but then when the value comes short and they don't wanna buy the house, it's pretty tough. We have to convince them not to. I don't have a real answer for you, that I haven't done it.
Cause I had one where the appraisal came in $60,000 less. It was a shitty appraisal. I mean, the guy did a terrible job.
And you had an appraisal waiver.
No, I didn't have an appraisal.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, from an appraisal perspective,
Mhm.
so it was just a shit show from, sorry, excuse my French, going back and forth between the buyers and the sellers, and they finally agreed, we got them to lower the price and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was in like a beautiful subdivision, it was definitely worth the value that they were paying for it, but it was one of those subs where like no one moves, there wasn't a lot of comps to support it.
Yeah.
And it was like borderline Farmington Hills, like it was just a whole complicated situation.
Yeah.
But it's trying to explain to somebody, like, the value in your home is there, this is not the best appraisal, and it's just because of the timing. Lo and behold, 2 months later, a house on the street goes up like 50,000 more than what they were getting it for. That if that comp was there, we would have never had this problem. So it's just,
The timing of it. So I do have a little bit of an answer, but before I continue, so that I don't have my glasses, I couldn't read what you were trying to tell me.
Oh, my bad. I forgot, you got your varsity.
Are you good?
I went,
For sure? Well, you can text me.
I did text you, you didn't even check your text messages.
Oh, you did? Alright, give me one
Yeah.
second. My bad.
but what Terry's saying about the value, the situation, I personally, if we have an appraisal waiver, I mean, it's pretty much saying, the way I've said it, after speaking to Terry about it before, is, you wouldn't get an appraisal waiver, the value wasn't there. Like, not everybody gets an appraisal waiver, the value would not be there, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac would not give you the appraisal waiver if they did not think the value was there. They're also now supporting technically a higher mortgage, if the appraisal, because if the appraisal came in less, it'd be a lower mortgage. So, I mean, that's kind of what I say, I'm like, okay, they're giving you let's say the appraisal will come in $6,000 lower. They're risking a higher mortgage for you because they believe the comps are also there. So, and then also I would make the realtor search their own comps. And like, talk to them, like, say like, listen, like, as a realtor, you go find the best comps and say, look, all these are appraising for around what your appraisal waiver is and for what this value is. Like, there's no point to lose the house over an appraisal.
That actually is the answer, because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the only ones who are issuing appraisal waivers, and they're doing it based off data in the market, of other appraisals. So it is them saying we're confident in the value.
That's how mine was yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, we put it at a mid value and then it gave us an appraisal waiver. We redid it with a higher value, it took the appraisal waiver off.
It
So-
kinda all depends on your client too, like, your client is willing to put $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on top of like what they're offering, like, then appraisal waiver and you get your house, like, you get your dream house, so rather like waiting for the appraisal comes lower, you guys have to deal with going back and forth with the seller, and it's just like, here's an appraisal waiver, you got your house.
Yeah, like I had a house that I listed and we had multiple offers on it. And the offer that my sellers accepted was, it was 20% down. So the house we listed was $225, they offered $237, so it was way over asking. And they did a $10,000 appraisal guarantee. So they're like, okay, we're gonna pay $500 for an appraisal, just do the appraisal waiver, what's another $2,000? They were pretty strong buyers,
Yeah.
so what's another $2,000? So
Yeah.
again, you have to look at their down payment and, at the end of the day, is that extra $1,000 gonna make a difference in your mortgage? What is it, $10 extra a month, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a roughly $50 for every 10,000.
And I explain that to my buyers, like when, a lot of my buyers, if they're approved up to $350, they're like, well, we don't wanna pay more than $300. Okay, there's a house that's listed for $280, right? Okay, we're gonna put $290. Okay, the highest offer is $295. Are you willing to go $297?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, we don't wanna, but what's $2,000? It's an extra $20, $30 a month in your mortgage. Like, I think if you break it down like that.
so I've done that, where I download like the apps and I put it,
Yeah.
this is how much you're gonna put down, this is your interest
Yeah.
rate, this is what your taxes are. Cause I'm Zillow and Realtor, you guys are gonna get this, it's their best friend, and they know more than the Realtor because they have the app at their fingers and they text you at 1:00 in the morning, are you awake? Yes, it's gonna happen. And I'm like, okay, but you said your budget was this, your pre-approval is this. Now you're not going 5-10 over, now you're going 50,000 over your budget. So once I bring them, have a come to Jesus moment as I call it with them, and you input all that data and they're like, oh, closing costs are $10,000. now I know exactly how much I have to come to close. It kind of helps them come back to reality, and it gives you like, it makes you look more like knowledgeable that, hey, she's done her homework, he's done his homework, he knows he knows exactly what we're coming into closing with. So I think that helps too.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna add to that. A lot of times people think, okay, I'm paying, let's say you have to offer another 20,000 to make it work. The client wants to short it by 20 G's. Oh yeah, but I'm paying 20,000 more than what the house is worth. I'm paying 20,000 more at the end of the day. Even if they're putting 20% down, the extra 20,000 is only another $90 a month, because with their low rates right now, it's like 40,
Yeah.
$45 a month for every 10,000. Only an extra 90 a month, and only another 2,000 at closing. They're looking at, I'm paying 20,000 more dollars.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're playing the mortgage game. We're not playing the cash game. If they're paying cash, yeah, they're paying $20,000.
Right.
But more than 90% of the clients are not paying cash. So really, you're only spending another $2,000 and another $20 a month. In most cases, we're talking about they have to offer just another $10,000, and they're putting 5 or 10% down. We're talking about another $500 or $1,000 at closing, and another $50 a month. I try to break it down to the client where I make them think on these terms. Wouldn't you hate to lose this home that you said you could see your family growing in over $50 a month and $2,000? $50 a month and $1,000? At the end of the day, no one, that's just true, you know? So, all great points. Anything else you want to add? Anything with that? Any strategies in the same subject?
As far as the competition, it's definitely, I mean, I've only been doing this for like a month and a half now, but
Yeah.
I'm a fast learner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned to you, I submitted an offer with $27,000 appraisal guarantee, and I lost it 2 days ago. It's crazy. Yesterday, I submitted an offer with $20,000 appraisal guarantee, but what I did was this time I called the client, the selling party. I talked to the agent, and I met their needs. I knew exactly what they're looking for. I knew exactly what they want. I gave them what they want.
Like occupancy
plus,
and stuff, is that what you mean?
cherry on top. What was that?
Like occupancy, like what their terms would be?
Absolutely, when they want to leave, what's going on, what their situation is, and I made it work for them exactly how they want it to work. And with a lower appraisal guarantee, literally, she called me this morning, she said 99% you're approved. You're getting an accepted offer, so it has to do with, strategy and also knowing what the seller wants.
Yes. 100%. So that's great. So we actually, this second part here where we're going to speak upon our value, where I'm going to speak upon Connect's value. We're skipping that because we're already in the offer strategies and all that and how we win in the market. So we're going to stay on here for a moment. And I got a few things I want to add to just in general. We're trained that our job, especially realtors, a fiduciary responsibility to your client, right? You got to save them the most money, basically. Almost the way people say it sometimes is like, we don't care about anyone else on the deal. We don't care about the listing side. If I'm the lister, I don't care about the buyer side. I don't care about the loan. I don't care. For me, the way I've been able to win in business in general, forget mortgages, is because I care about making the deal proper for everyone involved. That's good business. If you only care about making the deal good for you, good luck on really calling yourself a businessman or woman. Like you're not going to make real deals happen in the future. Everyone's got to feel like they're getting some sort of benefit together, and or everyone's losing together to make it work. It's one or the other. There is no only one side wins. There are deals like that do happen, where it's really probably us making that sacrifice, right? But at the end of the day, it's about winning the deal. So I know a lot of times an offer will work out, a closing will work out, where you ended up getting more than what your client wanted, right? Like on the listing side, or you end up getting lower than what your client wanted on the buyer side. And you're always going to promote that. Why wouldn't you? Right? You're always going to promote, I saved my client money, et cetera, et cetera. I happen to get this guy a 2% rate instead of a 2.5% rate. I'm going to promote that. I just got someone a 2% rate. With that being said, our jobs, this is where a lot of people lose on deals. Our jobs are not necessarily to save people money. Our jobs on a purchase transaction, which is what we're doing together, is to get people into homes. My job isn't to save you $2,000 on the offer to try to see if that's going to work. $10,000 to see if that's going to work because you're going to lose, right? My job isn't to go in and not help you convince the buyer to do an appraisal guarantee because they have to leave more money out of pocket or they have to go do a gift as be a little bit more challenging in underwriting. No, my job is to work with you guys to convince them this is what they got to do to win. And the client who is trying to save money in the current market at the end of the day is going to lose. And if we allow that, we are going to lose. And at that, I think we're all in business to win, right? If you're winning a certain amount of deals, you're a winner. So even your client, if they keep losing with you because we're being nice and we want to try to save them more money, they're going to remember that they lost with you. They're not going to remember that you tried to save them money. If you close and they got their home for their family. I'm talking more about the family home. I don't care too much about the investment properties and the other reasons people are buying homes right now, which is all fine and dandy. We do those deals, but it's not my focus. Because at the end of the day, we're getting families into homes. They will remember you if you did a good job and got them into the home. They're not going to remember that they paid an extra $5,000 or lower $5,000. They will be in that house serving, nice Sunday breakfasts, and they're going to be talking about you because you got them to the home. And that you actually convinced them to pay a little bit more. They're actually going to promote to the client, so if the client gets a referral, yeah, she told me you helped her win because how do we do this appraisal guarantee? Like that's going to be the conversation instead of trying to save it. So it's a big hurdle. The deal we lost, and I brought up as an example earlier, was because the other realtor was trying to save the client money. We had one of the $15,000 guarantee. I convinced the client to do the $15,000 guarantee. It was a winner. He said, I don't want to do it, but if that's what we got to do, let's do it. Great, case closed, we're done. The realtor went in to try to get it back at $10,000. And like did it tell you, we went to try to get it at $10,000 and we lost the deal.
Not at this time.
Right.
Not just at $10,000, but at $10,000, a lot of listings right now are paying 2.5%. It seems to be like a trend,
Yeah.
right?
It's ridiculous.
So he was trying to get it at the lower guarantee and trying to split a part of percent to get himself a little bit above 2.5%. The realtor told me, like, I'm dealing with this, I'm gonna have to deal with you guys on the inspection, this and that, I just don't wanna mess with it. Sorry, Terry, but you guys lost the deal because we're trying to get a better deal than what was gonna win, right? So it's very important. Our job is to get people into homes, not necessarily to save them money. We do our best to save them money. We're not trying to hurt anybody out here. Saving you money is a bonus. Getting you into a home is what our jobs are all about.
Especially in this market.
Especially in this market,
Unless it's a buyer's market, it's a whole different game.
Yes,
You know?
yes. That right now, that whole strategy is just so funny.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of our community, the elder generation. It's like they think we're all stupid. When it comes to working.
I could go on for days about
They
that.
think we're all stupid. So
No, their house is enough. There's enough liquidity.
Yeah.
The rates are enough.
So before we continue, I forgot to introduce actually the team. Whoever you guys didn't meet today, we have Sandra, Jasmine. They're both loan assistants, help and support. Marwa, Vanessa, both loan officer, sales assistant. Sylvia, who's also a processor, leader of processing, and that is the team. So everyone,
Nice to meet you guys.
That's about
you're here.
That's it.
dominant.
Terry, I also help you do mortgages. I also do your event planning.
Am I supposed to give your whole autobiography right now?
Yeah.
Her resume,
I do like Jimmy so much right now.
I'm also licensed, I am a loan officer as
Yeah,
well.
there's exactly Jasmine. Like, come on, really, Terry?
There you go. There's 15 minutes of social time before and after. We can promote you. So we'll be good.
I don't have 15 minutes of before after time. I have so much stuff to do.
All right, so back on focus. We got any other offer strategies. Another thing that I've been noticing. So Rita brought it up to say, hey, talk to your loan officer. Talk to us to actually see if you're going to get the appraisal waiver. A lot of times, sometimes this is timing. Rita's ready to make an offer. It's a Friday night. She's working. I'm eating sushi. Okay, now sometimes it's we're ready to go right then and there, right? And that's the best. We're ready to make an offer. Could you check, see if we get an appraisal waiver on this house? The client is putting 10 or 20% down where you can actually win the waiver. But you want to make the offer tonight, and we're not really available to go and really check if we have an appraisal waiver, right? We got to play the game, get the offer in the right way. At the end of the day, that is our job. Within that business day, within that 24 hours, maybe less right now because the market is stupid. The offer's getting accepted within 5 hours of listing, sometimes faster. So we got to actually get this answer quick. And the only time you're going to get an appraisal waiver that she was bringing up, you'll only ever get that on a conventional loan. Ever. Like you will never get that on an FHA or VA loan. It's a conventional loan. The client has to be putting a high enough down payment. It can't be a 5% down. You will not get an appraisal waiver. It's got to be a high enough down payment, right? When are we really seeing it? Good credit, 20% down. We are seeing it in many cases at 10% down with great credit. So it all depends on the situation. But we won 2 offers 2 weeks ago because an appraisal waiver compared to a guarantee. And the waiver, even though I'm pretty sure we were the highest offer with a waiver, someone could come in with a higher offer with a guarantee. Usually if the offer is good enough on the waiver, correct me if I'm wrong, as doing the listing side, if you receive an appraisal guarantee that's a little bit higher of an offer, but $5,000 less appraisal waiver, you're considering that waiver over the higher offer. Because the waiver is guaranteed. There is no appraisal, there is no fighting for the value, there is no, it might come in 10,000 short, 15,000 short, where the appraisal guarantee might end up hurting a little bit. What would you guys do in that position? Is my logic correct there, or you tell me?
Yeah, because if you're offering 250 appraisal waiver, the seller is guaranteed, I mean, as a listing agent, we're guaranteed that 250.
Mhm.
And, you know, I mean, unless something happens in inspection or whatever, but you're guaranteed that, you know, I mean, at least that's what, yeah, I mean, that's what happened, you know, most recent situation with one of my listings.
Nice.
Yeah,
And you got the deal done, you got an offer accepted with an appraisal waiver.
well, I was on the listing side,
Mhm.
yeah, so we accepted that offer.
Nice.
And everything went through that.
Yeah, actually, we didn't even know there was an appraisal waiver. It wasn't even part of their offer, but because, you know, I worked with that agent before, and again, you know, agent relationships are really important. We done a deal with her before. She, you know, I liked her. They really went like, you know, strong offer right from the get-go. And, you know, 20% down, 12,000 over asking, where I also had another offer where they had an escalation clause, which that's another thing, and they were willing to beat the highest offer. But, you know, I mean, you come off strong from the get-go, and, you know,
Yes.
instead of
So
going back and forth.
that is what I want to talk about, the back and forth, especially with our community. Let's lowball, and then let's see where they come in, and et cetera, et cetera. I think that, I never believed in that. I think right now it's like, well, you just can't do it, you know? But there is what she said of coming in strong on the initial offer, right? If you come correct, you almost make the listing agent and the seller say, why do you even want to look at anything else? Why do I got an appraisal waiver, I got an appraisal guarantee. They're saying they want an inspection, but that's to decide whether they want the house or not see if they can get a better price. That's another thing that you could do in inspections, is we're not gonna fight you for value, we just want an inspection. See if there's any challenges with the house or not. Because if you have an appraisal guarantee or an appraisal waiver, and they're seeing that you're getting an inspection, and you might challenge them on bringing down to a seller credit, etc., you could always renegotiate. If we come in with an offer saying we're not gonna fight you on value, but there's just something so stupid on the inspection, you could always have a reasonable conversation with the other agent,
Yeah.
and people are gonna be reasonable about it, you know, if it makes sense. Doesn't make sense, it is what it is. So those are all things that I see that are winning. I want to add another thing. Rita brought up about the relationship with realtors. Like, if you know another realtor, it's going to be easier for you to get in the door. Being real about it, realtors are not supposed to say, this is the offer I have on the table. This is exactly what it is. They're not supposed to say these things. At the end of the day, if you're doing real good business, especially if you know the agent, you're gonna know what's up. And I love that, because it's like, guys, what do we need to do to make this deal work? Then it's a question of who's willing to do what, which buyer is willing to do what. And if the answer is we could do it, we could win. So who you guys know on the realtor side is important. Who we know on the loan officer side, the mortgage side, is also important. There are deals that we have won simply because the listing agent has dealt with us before. They just know they're gonna get they just know we're not gonna be BSing them on things that we need. If there's an update, it's a real update. We're not making stuff up. We're gonna get it done as fast as possible for the situation. Likewise, on the buyer side of it, the agent, if they're someone who's worked with us and they like working with us, they're going and giving that to the listing side. So if you receive an offer and it's from a realtor that you know, and that realtor is saying, I've worked with this lender 5 times and they're the best, promise you you're in good hands with us, not just because you know me, but because you did a good job, we've done a good job with this mortgage company, it adds confidence, it adds certainty to the deal.
Also that you're local too,
Yes.
that helps.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that on local. When you have an issue at Friday at 5 o'clock or 3, but then if they get a higher, they think, oh, you have your person's like 0.5% more than mine. So you can only instruct them so much where it doesn't fall back on you and you force them to go with this.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the same thing happens with inspectors.
There's
I
a
give them
break.
2 or 3. I say this is the one I use the most, but it's at your discretion.
Right.
So you kind of can't steer them only in your direction of what mortgage company you want to go. Go through, because I don't want to be blamed at the end.
Right.
Yeah,
If
I
something
mean,
goes south.
yeah, I mean, really, the only time my buyers use their own is like if they already have, they're adamant about using this person. Or if that mortgage company has like a bridge loan, that's something that like you guys don't offer, or down payment assistance, you know, things
Yeah.
like
Yes.
that. And then you're kind of stuck, like,
Of
you have-
course,
you know
no.
what I mean?
And
At the end
in
of
that
the day, it's your
situation, it's
decision.
who's the best to get that type of deal, that type of client done at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Sandra, are we good?
Yeah.
Did we record?
Mhm.
Thank you. So, I actually wanna touch on that. The way I do referrals, the way I recommend everyone does referrals. Not everyone's gonna do it, because it's very straightforward and it's me putting myself out there, which I'm totally okay with. It's worked for me. If I'm referring anyone here a deal, I didn't refer the client to 2 people or 3 people. I literally referred them to 1. I'm literally, in my mind, saying, okay, here's this client. Who's all the realtors that I like that I know? And who are the ones I've been communicating with recently? That has a factor. Staying in communication with your clients and your realtors is a factor, right? Your communication, people remember you. Who's going to be the best person to take care of this client? The best person right now. And that's who gets a referral. The only time I'm not recommending everyone do this, but it's worked for me. The only time I'll recommend an additional person is when that client has a real complaint about the person I'm referring to. So what I mean by real complaint, we all have complaints that are general in our business. Or a realtor, the realtor keeps saying I have to put an appraisal guarantee. I don't like her. Okay, well that client's wrong, not you, right? We gotta find a way. Either we shouldn't be working with the client, or it is what it is. You're gonna waste your time making offers that you don't want to make. Why is Connect Mortgage Funding asking for all these documents? A general mortgage complaint, right? So those type of complaints, they go in one ear, out the other, and we handle the client the way we're supposed to, make them feel better about it, this is the process, et cetera, and do it. But then there's a real complaint. You just might be busy. They made 3 phone calls over the course of a week and there was no call back. You might just be busy at the end of the day. Or there's something that you actually did wrong, something that I actually did wrong. We're all human, we all make mistakes, I promise you. Not every deal has been perfect. We've gotten so good because we've made mistakes in general. That's why we've gotten so good. So, in that scenario, I'll refer it for sure. So I made my life easier because I actually make it a little quicker by kind of solving that shopping step. With that being said, if you have the client that's gonna shop, it is what it is at that point, you know? So that's what I do. And the way
I actually have a similar thing to add to that, Terry. I had a client call me this morning at like 9:15 telling me the realtor that Terry referred her to, she doesn't want to deal with him anymore. And I'm like, okay, so what's the challenges before like I just say okay, right? Like I want to figure out what's going on. And the challenges are actually valid. They're not just, oh, like the client's being just whatever. It's actually like
The realtor doesn't want to deal with the
no,
client?
the
client
client doesn't want to deal with the realtor
Oh.
anymore. And the reasons that they gave me were like actual valid reasons where it's like, okay, maybe this is not a good fit for this client. Like maybe I do need to refer to like a different realtor that's a little bit more, you know, like tender, loving, and caring, because this realtor is just a little bit too tough, you know, for them. So me and Terry have to make that phone call later on today. But that, like, in that type of scenario, like, you can't just also say, no, you're wrong. Like, you have to listen to what they're saying too.
Yeah, finesse it. You know,
Right.
even when I'm saying about the client complaining about general stuff, checklist, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you again complaining about a checklist? No, nobody wants to provide a checklist. Who the hell wants to do that? You know, so you just gotta
And
work
they
with
just
it.
want that pre-approval letter. Like
Yes.
it's nothing. Here you go.
Yes.
Pre-approval letter with no checklist, nothing, no documents.
Like baklava. All right, so that's all gravy. Anything else you guys want to add to that? Your own? Go
I
ahead.
want to ask actually, so like, can you tell me more detail about like the appraisal waiver? Like if I put
Yes.
325 and I put an appraisal waiver, that means it's at 325 no matter what?
Correct. But you cannot make an appraisal waiver offer without your loan officer that knows what they're doing, aka Connect Mortgage Funding, and actually telling you that you got an appraisal waiver. It's something that you cannot get on your own. We have to run it. So you know there's FHA loans, there's VA loans. For conventional loans, there's Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Those are their nicknames. There's a real longer name for them. We run it through their software. We run the underwriting here at our desks. And it tells us, approved, not approved. Like, we don't play a guessing game with our pre-approvals, which we'll touch on in a second. For appraisal waiver, it tells us yes, no. So you need to get that yes from us. If it's a yes, it's a guarantee. You have the appraisal, you're good to go. And that's it. 325 was the example you used. 325, case closed.
Gotcha.
And imagine being the listing agent, and that's your offer. That's the offer you're getting. 325, no appraisal. I don't got to question my value. You're 9 out of 10 times you're accepting that offer, if it's high enough, right?
Right.
You're gonna say something else?
Yeah, I heard you're looking for a loving and tender agent. I'm right here.
I don't even know if you want this client, how about that?
Really? Okay.
I know which client it is now.
I'm not sure that you want this
He's
client.
looking away.
Trust me. Very, very difficult. I don't even know if I want the client, how about that, so.
Yeah, I know exactly what
It's
we're
very
talking about.
difficult.
Tough, huh?
You'll get there. You never think you're gonna reject business in the beginning. Then you're like, sometimes it's just not worth it.
I don't wanna do that to you, I feel bad.
So that's
Thank you.
actually,
Appreciate it.
that's a great segue, because it's exactly what I want to talk about next. Is the clients that, at the end of the day, you think you want every client in the world, no you don't. You're setting yourself up for misery if that becomes your life, if you wanna be everything to everybody, right? So there are the clients that I want, they're the clients that Connect Mortgage Funding wants, then there's the clients that you as a realtor wants, right? You gotta find out what type of business you want and literally focus on that. So I said earlier, I don't care for the client who wants investment properties, and I don't care for the client who wants to buy a house for what everyone's buying right now for cannabis growing. I have nothing against that, and I do those deals, it's fine. I'm not going after that deal. I don't feel like I'm really helping the person. I got no, if I'm helping you buy a home for your family,
No warm and fuzzy.
I get involved. I get hype about it. I'm actually helping, I'm making money and I'm helping this family. Helping you buy an investment property that the client really doesn't care about, that might even back out at the last second because they decided that something isn't fit for their cannabis grow, right? So they want to back out at the last second. You have to come up with every reason to back out of this house.
The business is not big enough.
Right? Like something should have figured out at the beginning. That's not my target market. If it comes in and it's the right way and the client's the right way, yeah, I'll help you do it. But if you're not coming correct for how I want to do business in my life, right? My time, I tell the team all the time, I think my time is more important than all your time. But you should also think your time is more important than my time. We gotta respect each other's time.
Right.
You guys all got here, I said we're gonna be done by 1:30, right? I'm making sure we start on time. I'm respecting your time, I'm respecting my time. I got work to do. I'm working tonight. I know I'm working tonight, right? So, at the end of the day, what clients are gonna serve you mentally, making you feel accomplished because you're serving them? So, the clients we don't want, there's people in our community that we could refer you to that I'll tell you are the best at getting these done. The clients we don't want are the clients that they need help. They're W-2 income borrowers, which we all know them. We all have friends, cousins, etc. that need their income to be a certain way to make the deal work. Guys, I actually don't even want to take pride in it anymore. I'm really the best. I don't want to be the best at that anymore because people come for that, right? I'll help a friend, you help a client, they come for that. You're working on 5 deals. You're doing 1 deal for the cost of 5. That's how much work goes into that deal. We all have natural deals that are good, clean deals that might take up more time. It is what it is. That's part of our business. But we're choosing to go after that business. It's not how I want to do business. So that clientele, I have friends that are set up. Someone who used to work here actually, that is set up with his lender to actually get those done a little bit easier. Right? We could refer those out. I don't have to be the one to take care of that client, right? Now, there's many other examples of a client I don't want. It could be an A-paper client, meaning they have good credit, they have good income, but the client who just doesn't listen, you just have to fight with them all the time. I don't want that client either. I don't want, Terry, this guy said this, that guy said that. Great, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, understood. Like, we gotta get them to be comfortable with us, trust us. But if that client is just that way, I don't care if I lose that client. I will save time by moving on to the next client.
I fired clients. I'm not gonna lie,
I'm this close.
Yeah.
This close.
And you should. We should be firing clients, we should be firing, as a realtor, you should be firing loan officers you don't want to work with, as a loan officer, firing realtors we don't want to work with, etc., etc. At the end of the day, we're running a business, right? If you have a team member that's just not cutting it or is just causing problems, you gotta let that person go because then your business will be better. You have more peace of mind. It's the same thing with our business relationships and our clients. We don't have to do every deal. So when I started on my own in summer of 2014, I was turning down that business, right? And everyone was telling me, bro, you're new, you gotta do, what do you mean? How are you turning down business? It's money on the table. You're right, it is money on the table, but I've always had the philosophy of as long as I'm alive and healthy, God willing, right, thank God, as long as I'm alive and healthy and going after what I want, I'm gonna get what I want. At some point, you're gonna get what you want. You try enough, make the right energy, the right effort, you're gonna get what you want. If I say this is the type of client I want, you're gonna find that 75% of my business is that client. I'm okay with the other 25% slipping through and they come in and, but even then, if they're just being too much or they're not coming correct, I don't gotta work with you. And I've told people, like these, if they push me to that point, I almost send the message so that they could, because if you have a good client, they're gonna refer you clients like them. If you have the client you don't want, their odds are they're gonna refer you clients like them, right? So I almost press on the message in a way where it sticks in their mind so that they could tell their friends, don't go to Terry for this if this is your situation. This is what I told him, he said he doesn't help me in this. I want that voice to be out there in the community so that you don't call me for that very reason because I don't want that business no more, right? So if the saying is, no matter what you do, someone's gonna hate, I may as well have people hate on me about the things I don't want anyways, right? Hate on me about that, so I don't gotta worry about it. So it's very important. Your time is so important that if you're working on majority stuff that you want, your life becomes easier, your business becomes better. When you're taking care of business, you're happier. Like people could tell when you're, like you could call it what people could tell when you have something on your plate that you don't want. They may not know what it is, but the energy is coming out there, right? And you could feel it. You wake up in the morning, and be like, man, wow, I have to deal with this guy today, right? So at the end of the day, you want to work on what you want to work on. So our stuff, what we shine on. Any client that's willing to, they're coachable, they're a client who if you know what you're doing, they're gonna trust you. Don't we always want those clients, right? The only time we're not going to want that client is if they're the scenario I just said, right? They need help with their W-2 income, or their credit's just too low. Like honestly, can we do a loan that's below 620 credit score, FHA? Of course. Do we do that? Of course. When that's the situation and it works, I'm not going after those clients. I'm going after your normal credit to high credit, normal career-oriented people to high career-oriented people, and the rest is just gonna fill in there regardless, right? So those clients working with us, teaming up with you guys, will receive a professional experience. They're gonna receive what I'm calling a referral experience. So when they speak about you, you did a good job, you're a professional. And they're going even as far out to feel like they feel obligated to send you a referral. Because you did such a damn good job that when their sister or their coworker or their whoever is just talking about buying a home, you created a referral experience where they want to send you to them. Either get you connected with them, they give them your phone number, etc. So the goal at the end of the day is targeting what you want, working on what you want, and getting as many referrals out of what you want. And I promise you, I've gone through it. I've turned it off at times, I've let it slip through because we hire people, we train people, and then it's almost like a training experience, etc. But whenever we let too many of those deals that we don't want to slip into our pipeline, it's so dramatic, the effect that it happened this month. It happened in March, okay? The dramatic it has on our morale and our pipeline is huge. We did fine in March, I promise you, but compared to what it could have been, when it comes to peace of mind and when it comes to numbers, two totally different things. Two totally different things. So it's a very, very big deal. If there's anything that anyone gets from this, from me, is take from experience, work on what you want. Work on what you want. Do not be scared about turning down business that you don't want. Turn them down gently, the right way, but go after what you want and you'll make it happen. So that's my piece on that. I know you two got something to say about it, so feel free.
Go ahead.
I mean, I just for instance, with even if we get frustrated with it because it's so much work to put into it, you have to imagine as much as the borrower says oh no, I'll do it, I'll get whatever, those 17 phone calls a day, they're gonna get frustrated to the point where they're gonna be seriously, screw it, no, I can't keep calling my accountant, no, I can't keep telling my boss to change this or sign this new form because now this income has to look like this. So they're gonna get frustrated. As much as they play it off no, I'll do it, whatever, they're gonna get annoyed. They're gonna get annoyed to the point where they're probably gonna start dodging you when you call them or dodging us because they're screw it, I can't, I don't wanna deal with it. It's too much of a headache.
Yeah.
I have a question. Have you guys ever turned down people family members or something? If it was that much of a headache? Because they want everything to be
Yes.
I don't deal with family, period.
yeah.
Period.
My husband has that rule. He will not deal with family in business.
I'll refer them
It depends on who it is. Sometimes I feel more obligated with certain, but I specifically put a limit that this is a professional transaction. I'm not giving you my personal opinion. I'm only doing what I need to do I don't want to come, you're not gonna come back and say, oh, you did this.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
turned it down because, oh, so-and-so is gonna do this kind of commission cut, then go with so-and-so.
Yeah.
I know how good I am with communication. I'm gonna answer every single phone call that you give me,
Right.
that you make to me. I know what I'm offering. If you want somebody that's gonna cut the commission, they're also gonna cut their service. Go to that person. Eventually, like,
Yeah.
I had to, one
Keep a
time, it
standard
got too
for it.
much. She was blowing up my phone. It was $10,000 investment properties and like, it would, she made in circles. I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I'm at a point where I can't help you. Excuse me. I don't have the time that you need me to commit to. I think you need to find someone else. I had to switch my dentist because I can no longer go see her. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. It is what it is.
It's more important to have the peace of mind.
But like he said, your
It
morale,
is.
I every time
Yeah.
my phone rang, I wanted to chuck it across the room. Like,
Yeah.
I'm screaming at my kids because my phone's ringing. Like, sometimes you just have to have less and be at peace of mind than.
I'll tell you what I do, then I want Sylvia to comment because all she gets is her family and friends for, on the mortgage side. So when I started working here about 2 months ago, I was talking to my brother. I was doing a refinance with my brother. I got on the phone. She couldn't tell I was talking to my brother, but she heard me start joking with my brother. Got on the phone and she's like, "Was that your brother?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Why are you talking to him like he's a client?" Okay, so the way that I filtered myself to where I don't make mistakes,
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I just did a deal for a priest. And I told the priest, please forgive me ahead of time because I'm going to speak to you just like I speak to everyone else. At the end of it, we're normal. We joke, we're not, you're
Right.
my priest.
Right.
But during the deal, I cannot think of any other way. Right away, he made a joke, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, I forgive you, whatever this and that. And we got business done. He's so happy. If I treated him like my brother, treated him like my brother, or I treated the priest like he's a priest, I would make a mistake. I wouldn't tell him the things I need to tell him. I'm gonna be nice. Oh, my brother understands. My brother's just gonna give me this stuff. Terry, how come my loan's not closed? Oh, Tony, you didn't send me stuff. You didn't tell me, bro. You should know. You know what I need,
Right.
et cetera, right? So that's how I filter it. I treat everyone like they're good clients, like they're great clients if they are great clients. And I do business, and whenever there's room in the conversation to joke around, to talk about family, after the deal, I always joke. You're my brother, you're my cousin, you're my friend, high school, this and that, whatever. But when we get to the part where we're talking about business, I keep it super focused on business. And I am talking to you like you're my client.
Yeah.
And that's how I've succeeded.
So like Joy said, all I do are family and friends, and I have set a standard, like, if you don't listen to me, like, just
Don't call
Right.
don't call me. Like, you're gonna listen to me before we start anything. Like, if I say something, I'm not doing it because I just wanna waste my breath. Like, I'm doing it because this is what I want or need. And even like, when my sister and her husband bought a house, my sister wasn't on the mortgage, only her husband was. And she would call me about, and I'm like, I can't speak to you without your husband's permission. Like, literally, that's how I would speak to my own sister. You're so annoying and this and that. And I put them, they were on three-way at one point, and I told my brother, I was like, can I speak to her about that? He's like, no, you can't, I was on the phone. He literally said that to me in a joking way, but at the same time,
Yeah.
okay, you said it. Like, I don't care if you were joking or not, you said it. So until you say otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't care. So he literally, but like, he was joking, but he was serious. He didn't want me telling her anything else, he was on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
No, I agree.
So, and I mean, that's my sister, and it's her house.
Right.
But it's not in her name, and it's legally, like, I'm not allowed to speak to her if she's not on the mortgage unless he gives me permission. So, regardless of who the client is, like Terry said, I set the standard. Like, this is what it is.
And if anything, family will
That's it.
attack you more than a stranger.
I know,
Because a
that's what I'm saying
stranger,
that, yeah.
it's a bad transaction, it's over. Family,
Yeah.
you can't avoid them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my roles were reversed. It was my sister on the deal and not my brother-in-law. And my brother-in-law wanted information. My sister's like, nope.
Yeah.
Terry remembers. She's like, nope. Don't tell him. Nope. So.
It was a fun deal.
Not anything.
But no, that's honestly really important, because last summer, I was in a situation where I was selling a parent's house, his son was moving out, and I was buying them a house, and then I was buying the dad a house. And this is all like relatives. So I'm constantly on the phone with one brother and the other, and my cousin's married to them, and it's like a whole thing. I would go to a showing 5 minutes before I was about to go see them, and I wouldn't like see my cousin, and she'd be like, I'm sorry, she was gonna see them. And they're like, oh, didn't Mel tell you she was taking us to a showing? No, she didn't. She keeps it very professional.
Yeah.
The dad's not gonna know when I'm going with the son, like,
Right.
you wanna tell each other, Mel said this, we
Right.
did this,
It takes
I
one
saw.
from me.
It didn't,
Yeah.
and I knew they're gonna congregate, and they're that kind of family where everything
Yeah.
gets put out in the
Yeah.
open, but it's not coming from me. You tell her I took you to a showing, it's not coming from me.
My mom gets mad at me. She's
Yeah.
literally like, how come you didn't tell me you're doing a deal for Uncle
Yep.
Father? I'm like,
Yep.
I know
I
it's
take
gonna
family
get
to showings, I won't tell relatives, nope.
You're right. I used to work at a hospital, so I know like.
Yep. I
People
was
would say,
thinking.
tell your mom I said hi. I'm like, you could tell her.
So look, you gotta try it and then make a decision. She made a decision. She's not working with family.
What made you, I'm
She-
just curious, what made you like, put your foot down? Did you have a
It's
bad
just-
situation?
I did, and you know, I dealt with grandma.
Okay.
You know how our grandmas are. They're very indecisive. Tried to list her house, and then all of a sudden, aunts got involved, and you know, it's like
Too
they
many
want to.
opinions.
It's like they want you to cut your commission. They want you to work for free, right? At the end of the day, and then if I don't cut my commission, oh, she's our niece, she's our daughter, she's trying to make money
off of
Yeah.
me.
money off of me,
Yeah.
this and that, and I'm like, okay, I'll cut. Like, I'm not cutting my commission. I'm sorry, like.
Right.
I'm paying for your marketing, I'm paying for this, I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't realize we have fees.
They came,
Like,
yeah.
yesterday a client in the middle of the show goes, how come you find the listing so much faster than I do on Zillow? And I go, because I'm paying for Realcom. Like,
Right.
I'm paying
Yeah.
to be part of Gmart.
Yeah.
You're paying $500 and some dollars that, you know, oh, she made 3%. That's you made a nice commission off of us. We're not realizing I took you to 20 houses before
Right.
you found a house.
It's not,
that
we're
you
not
liked.
making 3%, remember, we
I
like
just gotta
our
go
cut.
my CPA.
Yeah, we
You're
got-
paying this much in taxes.
Exactly, we pay 20% in taxes from our checks, we gotta pay our broker, we gotta pay Realcom fees, we gotta, like, they don't understand it, they say, oh, automatically you get this 3%,
yeah.
you're pocketing this money. Okay, but I'm advertising your house,
Right.
like, what do you want me to do, you know?
And
So it's
this
just like-
has everything to do with choosing the clients you want to work with, right? So
Right.
she's made a clear decision, she's tried it, she
She set the
decided,
tone.
I'm not gonna do it. It's a
Yeah.
very delicate thing of working with family members, it's not easy, you know, family members or friends, you either do it and you're down, or you're not, right? And if you are down, you just have to be good at it. If you're not good at it, you shouldn't do it, you should
Yeah.
work with everyone else. So, very important for you to make that decision.
Makes family gatherings very interesting.
I know,
To
right?
say the least. To say the least.
Very interesting.
Yeah, see, I don't have those problems with my family because they all know better. Like there's no such thing.
It just becomes in like
None.
Well-
he said, she said,
Oh,
she
there's
said.
none of that.
It's
Zero.
And this was in the beginning, like, of my real estate career, you know, and then it came to the point where, like, okay, too many people, there's too many opinions, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just how family is. Then it came to the point, I literally getting my grandma's listing tickets, everything, getting ready to put up for sale. Pull up to her house one day. There's a for sale by owner sign in front of her house. I was like, yep, I'm done.